Assalamu alaikum, 6 p.m. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Kanooz Ashraf. First, the headlines. Pakistan has urged international community to force India to move towards solution of the lingering Kashmir dispute. President says China-Pakistan economic corridor has made Pakistan an important destination for global trade and investment. Cabinet Committee on Energy has decided that there would be no load shedding during Sahar and Iftar in Ramadan. Asad Umar has announced to relinquish his position as Finance Minister. In Occupied Kashmir, forceful anti-India demonstrations were held in Srinagar and Budgam today against so-called Indian parliamentary elections. The scheduled talks between Afghan politicians and Taliban in Doha tomorrow have been postponed. Pakistan Cricket Board has announced a 15-member squad for upcoming England tour and ICC World Cup. And now the news in detail. Pakistan has emphatically stated that foreign hands found involved in the recent acts of terrorism in Balochistan will not only be exposed, but also effectively countered. At his weekly news briefing in Islamabad today, Foreign Office spokesperson Dr. Mohammad Faisal recalled that Indian spy Gulbhushan Yadav was also captured from Balochistan, and the information retrieved from him was shared with India as well as the international community. Referring to the Indian atrocities in occupied Kashmir, he urged international community to call upon New Delhi to halt its suppression and move towards resolution of the lingering dispute. Responding to a question about Kartarpur corridor, the spokesperson hoped that India would agree to a meeting with Pakistan at the earliest to finalize the draft for operationalization of the corridor. Foreign Minister Shah Mehmood Qureshi says the recent terrorist incidents in Balochistan are condemnable. In his statement today, he said anti-state forces are fanning of subversive activities in the country to achieve their nefarious designs. The minister said these cowardly acts will not dent our resolve and we are committed to eradicate the menace of terrorism. He said armed forces and people of Pakistan are standing steadfast against terrorism and the anti-state elements will be exposed and brought to justice. 14 passengers were martyred when terrorists attacked a bus on Makran Coastal Highway early this morning. According to Levy resources, the terrorists offloaded the passengers and shot them. Personnel of Levy's forces have cordoned the area and started investigation. According to spokesman for Pakistan Navy, the martyrs also include personnel of Pakistan Navy. President Dr. Arif Alvi says China-Pakistan economic corridor has made Pakistan an important destination for global trade and investment. Talking to a delegation of International CPEC workshop organized by NDU at Awan-e-Sadr in Islamabad today, he said the government attaches great importance to socio-economic development. He said development of special economic zones is an important part of the phase 2 of CPEC, for which public-private collaboration must be enhanced. The President underscored the importance of skilled human resource for SEZs and CPEC-driven industrial activities in Pakistan. He said 1 million jobs will be created over the next 10 years and our workforce must be prepared in this regard. Cabinet Committee on Energy has decided that there would be no load shedding during Sahar and Iftar in Ramadan. The decision was taken at a meeting of the committee in Islamabad today with Finance Minister Asad Umar in the chair. The committee directed the power division to ensure uninterrupted supply of power during the holy month. The committee expressed concern over complaints of longer duration of load shedding in rural areas and asked the power division to adopt uniform policy for load management in urban and rural areas and no discrimination should be made in this regard. The Power Division presented its internal audit report on quarterly indexation by NEPRA. This is Radio Pakistan. Asad Omar has announced to relinquish his position as Finance Minister of Pakistan. Announcing the move at a news conference in Islamabad this afternoon, he said Prime Minister Imran Khan has offered him the Ministry of Energy in the upcoming reshuffle of the cabinet. Asad Omar said he convinced the Prime Minister to allow him to step down from the cabinet, but he will always be available to support the vision of Imran Khan. He said he took decisions to improve economic situation in the country. He said the next finance minister will have to take tough decisions to steer the economy out of crisis. Asad Omar said he still believes that Naya Pakistan will certainly become a reality under the leadership of Prime Minister Imran Khan. To a question, he said, "I am not going to quit PTI, but will continue to remain within the party and to serve the nation." Asad Omar expressed his full support to the policies of Prime Minister Imran Khan. In occupied Kashmir, forceful anti-India demonstrations were held in Srinagar and Budgam district today against so-called Indian parliamentary elections. Hundreds of people raising pro-freedom, anti-India and anti-election slogans marched on the streets of several poll-bound areas of Srinagar, Budgam and Ganderbal districts. Several people were injured when Indian troops fired bullets, pellets and tear gas shells on the protesters. Meanwhile, complete shutdown was observed in poll-bound Srinagar, Budgam and Ganderbal districts. Call for the strike was given by joint resistance leadership to record protest against so-called elections. All shops and business establishments were closed while traffic was off the road. The authorities snapped mobile internet services. Train service was suspended in the Kashmir Valley. On the other hand, Paris-based media watchdog Reporters Without Borders in 2019 report says reporters from journalists working for local media outlets in occupied Kashmir are often targets of violence by Indian paramilitary forces. The journalist body said that occupied Kashmir continued to be a very difficult place for the journalists to perform their professional duties. It deplored that foreign reporters were barred from entering Kashmir, where the internet service often remained disconnected. A meeting between Taliban and Afghan politicians and civil society aimed at ending more than 17 years of war in Afghanistan has been postponed. A senior government official said in Kabul that talks set to begin tomorrow in Doha has been called off for now and details were being reworked. Meanwhile, Taliban spokesman Zabiullah Mujahid said presence of some participants was completely against the list of what was agreed upon. The Taliban have repeatedly refused to meet President Ashraf Ghani's government, which they call a puppet regime, but have held several rounds of peace talks with the US officials. United Nations Security Council has urged Yemeni parties concerned to implement Stockholm Agreement without delay. In a press statement, Security Council called on Yemeni government and Houthis to implement redeployment plans as soon as possible. They also expressed concern about recent escalation in violence in Hajj and on the Yemeni-Saudi border. They reaffirmed their strong commitment to unity, sovereignty and independence and territorial integrity of Yemen. United Nations has called Syrian government to help resolve fate of 2,500 foreign children being held at Hol camp after fleeing Daesh last stronghold. This was stated by UN Regional Humanitarian Coordinator for Syria Crisis Panis during a briefing in Geneva today. He said children should be treated first as victims and any solution must be decided on the basis of their best interest. Cricket. Pakistan Cricket Board has announced a 15-member squad for forthcoming ICC Cricket World Cup and England tour. Addressing a news conference in Lahore today, Chief Selector Inzamam ul Haq said that Sarfaraz Ahmed will lead the squad in the mega event. The rest of team is comprised of Fakhr Zaman, Imam ul Haq, Abid Ali, Babar Azam, Shoaib Malik, Haris Shohail, Sarfaraz Ahmed, Shadab Khan, Imad Wasim, Hassan Ali, Fahim Ashraf, Shaheen Shah, Afridi Junaid Khan, and Mohammad Husnain. And finally, the weather report. Mainly hot and dry weather is likely to prevail in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours. To end the news, some of the headlines once again. Pakistan has urged international community to force India to move towards solution of lingering Kashmir dispute. President says China-Pakistan economic corridor has made Pakistan an important destination for global trade and investment. Cabinet Committee on Energy has decided that there would be no load shedding during Sahar and Iftar in Ramadan. Those were some of the headlines, and that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com Radio Pakistan News Official.